Greetings, this is Chris and welcome back to Stellaris, where the Great Burb Commonwealth is looking pretty healthy, but because there is going to be a new patch, I'm not sure when exactly, but there's discussions about the 1.3 Heinlein patch ongoing. Development diaries make it look pretty good, but because of this patch, I'd kind of like to get this game wrapped up more or less in time for that to be complete. So, what sort of situation are we in right now? Well, we're doing pretty well. We took advantage of the very, very first edition of the game in that we got this obscure Gaia world out here, which we're not really allowed to get as trivially as we did, since colonies now cost influence. But we've got a pretty good and healthy economy anyway. Money's always been a bit of an issue, but we're doing okay now, we're positive. And we have several sectors. We have a sort of home sector around here, a second sector, yellow orb here, which I think also is... No, pale orb still under our control. And we have a distant sector up here, and what is likely to be a fourth sector up here in the long run. We have a colony ship on its way to Fomalhaut, and at that point we'll really have reached sort of the limit in this direction of where we're able to colonize. But there's lots of lovely worlds up here to go for next. This area is also wonderful. In particular, these worlds look very, very good. But we can't get out there trivially. It's going to cost, let's have a quick check, around 400 influence to go out here. 500 for Canam. I guess Pildram here is actually quite close to Red Orb. So that's not going to happen for a while, unless we get lucky, in which case we may be able to colonize something in the middle. This arid world Fargis is looking quite nice. So that's our expansion. Meanwhile, we have a lovely alliance with these chaps here, the Norilga. It's not yet a federation, because we haven't discovered the relevant technology, but it could well become one. And these guys, the Inari Confederacy, have not been very nice to us. Not very nice at all. They are hostile. I believe we're rivals. And they did rather unfortunate things to our friends here. I mean, we're not exactly super friendly or anything, but I had no beef with them whatsoever. And the Inari have gone right in there and broken up their territory. So we're not going to stand for this. We're going to start this episode, provided I haven't got any other pressing issues right now. I don't think we do. Oh, we have some factions. They'll go away. I'm sure it'll be fine. We are going to declare war. We're going to declare war on the Inari and try to teach them a lesson. In particular, I'd like to try and shrink their territory, and maybe we can also throw in a bit of humiliation. So if we go to the war screen here, this is a bit work in progress, I feel, because, for instance, one thing I can't see a way to do right now is these two planets here used to belong to the Aramathi, and I can't see a way of specifically giving them back if I were to reclaim them. I'm going to put them on the liberate list anyway. I think that means they become an independent faction, but maybe it gives them back to the Aramathi. I'm not actually sure. So we're definitely putting Tyriok and Nizatorum on that list, because I want to see those returned to the Aramathi. We also want to humiliate these guys, so we will throw that in. Humiliation is excellent. It means they get less influence and have a happiness penalty for 10 years, but more importantly, we get 100 influence. If we can, we'll throw in some stop atrocities, because that also gives us 100 influence. And I don't know whether they're using slavery or purges, but if we stop them from doing it, it will provide them with a disadvantage. Finally, because you're allowed to have up to 100 war score, it's based on the previous editions of Paradox games, where the 100 was literally 100% of an empire conquered, or in some other way defeated. So we can have up to 100 war score available. So if we can, we'll throw in Dorfil and Belazir. Now, the reason I'm not able to claim any of these planets is because my government policy on war is not liberal enough, and I think I changed it so that I could be proper friends with these guys. But actually, it's not such a big deal, because even if you have that, claiming planets and actually conquering them is quite hard work. You have to actually be really capable of dealing with the population's unhappiness for many years to come, or they will form a faction and cause problems like rebellions. The much better option I have found, at least when the empire is small enough, sadly the Inari here are too big, is actually to do a regime change, which is what this liberation stuff is all about. If you liberate every single planet in an empire, then you completely change the regime and the government will have the same traits as the people who liberated them, i.e. yours, at which point it's very, very easy to become allies with them because you already have a shared set of ethics. Maybe not so much if you're xenophobic and martial, because xenophobes also don't like other xenophobes. But if you're xenophobic and martial in the first place, you're probably conquering and enslaving. So, we are going to throw in Dorfil. There's 2 planets on Dorfil. That's going to be quite expensive then. Well, we'll see if we can afford it. And if possible, Belazir. There's Belazir. Okay, our war score's 95, which means we're going to have to put a lot of effort into this. But I think we should go for it. The Norilga are willing to join us on this. If you go into war in any other circumstance, i.e. you don't have an ally, then you can invite other people to the war. But since I already have an ally, I don't think I'm allowed to do that. So I'm going to send this declaration of war, and then we'll see lots of pop-ups appear. There we go. I have to wait for them to vote for it, yes. Because we exist in a joint alliance, we have to wait for the Norilga here to also be willing to join the army. The war. Now, the Inari themselves, they have an inferior army, mostly through technology level. So that's good. That should make things a lot easier. But one thing I am going to need, if I'm actually going to be able to take any planets, is some actual planetary landing armies. So I need to start constructing on all nearby worlds. What's close by? I think I can still construct armies even if I have them in... Yes, I can. Yes, I can. So even if I'm in a sector planet, that is a planet I've given to a sector, I'm allowed to build armies nonetheless. It's just a little more challenging to find the planets because they don't appear in your outliner here. I can build Mako Nas. Oh yes, we had some migration, didn't we? Are they better at fighting than us? No, they're not better at fighting than us, so we'll just stick with our own units for now. That's 2 there, 2 there, 2 there. We want to get up to 10 if possible, because I think that's the maximum that can fly around together all at once. So Yellow Orb, you'll do nicely for 2 more. Burb Assault Armies. I did do Assault Armies there, didn't I? Yes, good. And Glowing Orb, I guess you're the next closest. So Cup. Cup gets 2 armies. And they should all appear in my outliner somewhere. Somewhere down here. I'm actually going to close some of these things for now. We'll close the observation of factions. Why do I have a serious... that was the guys I took over. Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. Yeah, there was a planet of primitive peoples that I uplifted. And they're not really a big fan of mine. I don't know why. I thought I was quite good to them, to be honest. I've given them some nice farms and things, but apparently they just don't like me. Anyway, our science ships are all busy, so there's nothing to do there. We have a spare colony ship. That's cool. I guess they're just going to hang around until I actually have the ability to go further out here. Did I want to get Halax? Plus 10% minerals. Quite a large world. Pretty inhabitable. But it doesn't really get me any closer to these guys. What am I researching right now? I am not researching the thing that lets me access arid worlds, so it would make sense to use that colony ship, but colonies cost you lots of money. So for now, we'll leave it. We'll just have a quick hover around some planets, see if there's anything obvious I can do to increase our monetary gains. Doesn't look like it. These planets are all doing pretty well for themselves. Oh, there's one power plant I can upgrade there. We'll do that. And you are starting to run out of space slightly, so let's get you clearing a jungle. Okay, we are nowhere near our fleet capacity, but we should be fine nonetheless. So we need to bring all our armies to one place. which is probably white orb, just there. So let's get all our fleets to the same place and then see how our friends vote. And as expected, they have voted for war. A fleet has gone missing in action. Oh, has it? Did I have a science vessel over there or something? Interesting. We'll find out when it reappears. And they have destroyed... Wait, we don't have wormhole stations. We've destroyed one of their wormhole stations. That's good. That will make it harder for them to maneuver. So we are now at war. What took you so long, Burb? Let us end this once and for all. End this we will. You are doomed, mate. You are doomed. We are losing energy credits, but we have a nice supply, so that should be fine. Okay, we have the first enemy movement. The enemy fleet has arrived in Norilga territory here in Wasat. They will probably start doing something with the planet there. And I'm sorry, Norilga, but you're going to have to be a bit of a decoy till my fleet actually gets to the same place. In fact, we might be able to save a bit of effort. You know what? You guys, you can just stay actually in Pale Orb because you're just going to take forever to get here. So if I just send you back to Scrape. There we go. That should be fine. We'll just combine these two fleets here. The second and third flock. Why don't you meet up in Debux and we'll combine you. We have a leader. He's not great, but at least having 2 stars provides a small amount of fire rate and lower ship upkeep from his trait. So let's get them together. Good. Merge. Merging might take a little while because they have to actually maneuver within the system. Our colonies started. Excellent. And it looks as though the Norilga have run away from that fight. I can't blame them. They are rather heavily armed there. 1,600. We are going to have about the same, which could make it a little difficult. Hopefully, if we can coordinate, then their 900 or so can add to the combat effectiveness. Just on top of all of this, we have a new empire, the Pogavon. Pogavon. There they are. They are tiny. I'm not interested. And strangely, they've got 2 things really far apart, so either all these planets in between are terrible for colonization, or somebody's already ripped through their territory and taken it. We'll see. They are materialists, that's good, and they're xenophilic. That's excellent. They will actually like us, even though they are friggin' ugly. Would you want to invite that guy to dinner? God, creepy. Let's just be nice to them for now. Stick with a nice materialist reply. Right, it took about a month, but they finally got together and are in the same place, so we are going to head straight for Wasat and hope that we can actually... Oh, the combat's already started. That's not good. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you don't lose too much. It actually looks like you're doing a pretty good job, to be honest. Because they started off at about nearly twice your strength, so... Okay. We won't be able to see the battle. Oh no, we can see the battle because we're allied, I guess. They are actually winning. They've only got down to 3... Oh, they've run away. I don't believe it. The Inari have actually run away from that fight. I am shocked. They must have run back to Hadricus here. Okay, we're chasing them down. How are our armies doing? Good, right, we have all these armies. We need to get them together in one place. The first planet looks like we're taking will be Hadricus, so... Oh, I need you to all embark. It's a little bit of an effort to get your land troops out into space. You have to click on them all individually. There should be a nice button which is just embark all. If they happen to be on different planets. That would be much more convenient, please, Paradox. Anyway, apparently we're not doing any research. Mountain range, xenodiplomacy. Xenodiplomacy sounds sensible. No time for surveying nonsense right now. We are on the warpath. Let's take a look at Hadricus. This is our first target. It's guarded by a space station, so in order to actually attack the planet, we'll have to destroy the space station. And then the planet itself has a reasonable defense force, but we could take it, I think. And the fortifications will just have to bomb. You can use your fleets to bomb fortifications, it's not a problem. Doesn't take that much effort at all. And it will then mean that, well, when fortifications get down to 0, I believe you actually do extra damage with your own armies, which is very convenient.
Hostile fleet engaged.
Oh, where's that? Oh, right, I see. We've started to fight the space station. This should be easy. I actually can't remember what weapons our ships have. Apparently missiles.
Colony established.
Okay, in the middle of this war, our colony has encountered primitives, which I think I might have forgotten lived on this planet when I colonised it. Our new settlements on Fomalhaut Prime have come into contact with the primitive Stone Age aliens native to this world. There have already been several violent confrontations, and we need to establish a policy on how to deal with them. We can fortify our settlements into enclaves and limit them to remote regions where few aliens live. This will severely limit the land and resources available to our colonists. Another option is to relocate the aliens to special reservations where they can be kept isolated from the rest of the colony. This would still limit the available land, but not nearly to the same extent. Ooh, this is a difficult one because, you know, it's kind of nasty to limit them to reservations. I'm not the sort of race that enslaves people. Plus, apparently they're Norilga? Oh, I sent Norilga, didn't I, through colonisation, yes. Because they're more suited to this planet. Well, I think we probably ought to just restrict ourselves to smaller enclaves because, I don't know, I feel like it's just really, really offensive to restrict the growth of another species. And although I stupidly went and colonised this planet, I feel quite bad about it. So we're going to limit our settlements and see what that does to us. That means that... Oh, wow.
Situation log updated.
Oh, goodness. That is actually amazing. So by having them in their reservations, which we can never clear, we actually get +3 society. Does this planet produce... I don't quite understand. How are we getting the society research? Maybe we... Oh, adjacency effect. I see. Oh my god. So if we put a lab just there, we would get something like +6 society research. That would be amazing. Yeah, I like this. This is good. So, despite the fact that I slightly regret colonising it, it's actually pretty cool. There is a policy you can change. Here it is. Under your policies here, there are various things like we've mentioned before, such as the war philosophy. But there's also native interference, which apparently I have currently at unrestricted. I guess that's because I'm a materialist, so I don't really consider them to be of importance at all. Yeah, it must be something like that. Meanwhile, actually, since we now have a border with these guys, I'd quite like to be nice to them if possible. So could I offer you a trade deal, maybe? Could we have a research agreement? Oh. How about we give you research? Yeah, that sounds fine. We'll just give them some free research. That'll make them like us a bit. And then you'll see that, well, hopefully, yes, beneficial agreement. It starts to increase their trust. And because we gave them a good trade deal, they like us a bit more. So that's good. We may eventually be able to invite them to our alliance. But right now we're at war. Okay, in the middle of all of that, we had a warning about the number of planets we were managing, so I started to add more planets to the Inari sector just here. Unfortunately, I've discovered a small problem, because there is a Betharian stone power plant on Calm Orb, and it cannot be powered, despite the fact that I have one spare Betharian stone here. I don't really understand why I can't just give it to them, but I haven't found a way of doing it anywhere here. The only thing I could think to do is to also give them Harabas here, which contains Betharian stone. It's that, or I destroy that power plant and build one somewhere back here, but actually I'm not sure I can even do that, because if I go to the system and look at the planet in question, you'll see that I basically no longer have control of the planet, and that's part of building a sector. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to give them even more territory, which is slightly worrying if they decide to rebel or something like this. But I can't see any other choice. So, yep, you can have Brakma, Zempek, Markab, Harabas. For now, I'm going to keep control of Topaz, though I think that's just a bit too powerful to give away. Yes, I cannot remove that. That's fine. So the sector now is rather large. I don't have the influence to spare, but I would love to reclaim some of this nearby territory, to be honest, because I feel like I need to keep control of a core number of systems. And then I also want to have control of the very important systems at the distance. So any new colony we found, I want to control for a short while. And places like Pale Orb, I obviously really need to keep control of because they're right next to a potential enemy. So yeah, the sector system is a little bit frustrating sometimes. I've actually played a different game with a different form of government. And there is a form that lets you control, at the start of the game, 10 planets. And when you get the advanced government form, you can control 15 planets, which sounds great because you can have complete control, but actually the micromanagement gets really dull. So at some point, even in that game, I started building sectors for the planets I was less interested in. But for that, I was mostly making sectors at the borders of my empire and keeping a very large core. Whereas here, I feel like I've pretty much had to start designating stuff very close to my home system as sector territory, just because otherwise I find it very hard to expand. But anyway, I complain. There is a war on, and I shouldn't be complaining. So let's get on with that. So our fleet is now bombarding this planet, and our transport fleet is on the way, ready to take it, but it's going to need a leader. So let's recruit a general. We have the option of a cheap one, could be good. A logistician, which means the upkeep is cheaper. Bizarrely, I'm making a profit right now, so no complaints about that. Or one who can gain experience very quickly. Well, cheap is tempting with my constant worry about influence, but I think we're going to go for this guy and see if he can get lots and lots of experience. So he is now in charge of that army, and we've been contacted by someone new. They are very unpleasant. Individualist at least, but they're also militarist spiritualists, and I can't stand that sort of thing. So let's talk about we pursue perfection. Yeah, that'll do. I still don't understand that YTAC comment. It's so bizarre. Anyway. Oh, well, that's nice. Just as we meet them, they close the borders, so clearly we don't like each other very much. Never mind. Meanwhile, in Hadricus, our army is now arriving, and Bukral here has almost no fortifications left. So if we just keep an eye on this, then at the right moment, we can attack. Now, land battles, or whatever you want to call them, planetary landings, aren't very exciting in this game. As you can see, it consists of some flashing icons. But in general, you can see that the hit points of a unit are around the outside, and you can see how you're doing against the enemy by that means. So here, we're killing them. We're really killing them very effectively, actually. I'm surprised it's so effective, probably because we have a better technology level
Enemy
than them.
planet secured.
So, Bakral is ours, and if you now check down here on the war screen, we have got 20% war score. In fact, 23 apparently, according to that. Well, 20% down here. This is a complicated sum of battles and things you've conquered and things you're blockading and so on and so forth. But you can see from this bar up here, we're currently winning the war, which is good. Now, our army's going to need a bit of a rest, and whilst they're resting, I'm actually going to spend a bit of resources. Oh, we can't do it on another planet. That's a shame. I was going to actually spend a bit of resources, because one of the things you can do with armies is give them an optional attachment, which can be offensive or defensive, or if you go down that particular ethical route of being spiritual, you're actually able to give them psychic units, which is kind of fun, I guess. Anyway, our fleet shall move on. We're going to encounter a small bit of resistance in Galurum, but shouldn't be too difficult. And then we'll conquer this planet next. Then we'll go for the capital and see how our war score's doing. You see, the way negotiation works is essentially that this war score is what you can spend on goals. So if, for instance, I want to humiliate them, then currently they won't accept it because I'm asking for 10%. I've got 20% to spend, but there's a few other modifiers going on, such as, the war's only just started, so,
Research complete.
you're doing well now, but things could change any minute, and all that kind of nonsense. So, we are going to actually ignore that bloody mining construction vessel or whatever and go straight for their miniature fleet and space station here. We want to start bombarding Quadlut as soon as possible.
Situation log updated.
Oh, the remains of the Inari fleet have come back to Bukral, possibly trying to retake it. Well, we won't stand for this. We will bring our fleet in immediately to come and get them.
Construction complete.
Yeah, they're bombarding. How dare they? How dare they? You are done for, my friends. You are done for. 415 power.
Hostile fleet.
You just
engaged.
ran away.
Hostile fleet engaged.
Are we chasing them? Excellent. Chase them down. Destroy them. Obliterate them. Yes. Good job. Now, back to Qualut. You've got some things to do. Right, our transport fleet's in place. We just have to whittle down their fortifications and then we'll be able to take that planet. Meanwhile, a transport fleet has arrived in Hadricus. That's not a problem. I've dispatched our science vessel to research the debris of their ships because there might be some research in it.
Planet lost to invasion. Science ship under attack.
Okay, so that small detachment of transport guys actually retook Bukral. This is not good. So, hey, guess what, guys? You're going to have to come back again and retake the planet. So you come back and you guys come back. And we're ready to re-attack the planet that they took back from us. So go in there, General Skrark, and show them who means business. Us. We mean business. We'll peck their eyes out. Those bastards coming back to retake
System
the planet.
survey complete.
How dare they? Fortunately, they're assault armies, which means they're generally worse in defence. And they had nothing else left
Construction
besides, so this should be very straightforward. General Delure is done for. There he
Enemy
goes.
planet secured.
Good.
Anomaly found.
Yes, research the anomaly. Good, so we have retaken this
Research
damned
complete.
planet. We'll let our army heal up, and in the meanwhile, we'll pop back to Galurum and bombard the crap out of Qualud. Okay, the Inari have snuck in yet another military force and retaken the bloody planet. Stop doing this! What's wrong with you people? Can't you tell you've lost? Right, so I'm going to have to send people back again. All over again. Kill another general, General Lactras in this case. And hopefully, in fact, where are our science? Not a science. Where's the main fleet? Hopefully the main fleet can actually capture these guys and kill them. Because I'm really fed up with it. I don't want you landing just yet. Right. Kill. They just zapped out of there. That's just typical, isn't it? I do not want to play cat and mouse with you people. What is your problem? Oh, they landed. Well, that's fine. What really bothers me is they have the ability to regenerate the planetary fortifications in a matter of bloody minutes. They're back at full again, which means I have to bombard all over again. They're sending in a tiny, crappy force to get crushed again. Okay, I've got a plan this time. After we've won this battle again and taken the planet again, we are going to leave a small force of ships just behind. In fact, we're going to start building a small force of ships to come here and guard the bloody planet. So we'll have something like a destroyer and a couple of corvettes.
Special project complete.
That should do. Oh, what did we just get? Science Officer Earcal has successfully restored power to the automated shipyard. The facility immediately resumed its interrupted construction order and builds an advanced frigate. Okay. How advanced are we talking? 99. Is that good? Well, it has... Holy crap, it has level 4 X-ray lasers and a large disruptor. Woohoo! Okay, this is pretty good ship, actually. It's only one, but pretty good nonetheless. You're miles away from everything, so completely useless for the war effort. Let's send you back to Pale Orb. You can join up with the other guys here and sit there and guard things. It'll take you months to get back anyway. And with fortifications down for a third time, let's attack. Down they go. You can do it, lads. You've done it twice already. Show General Lactras what we're made of. Yes, this should be easy. Look at that. Demolishing their defensive units, and the assault guys are useless. On the plus side, he's getting a lot of experience out of this.
Enemy planet secured.
And we win again. Thank you. Thank you. General Skrak has leveled up for fighting the same battle 3 times.
Complete.
Excellent work. Right. This little mini fleet. You are going to come and guard this planet from random invaders. I'm going to wait a little bit for you to get here. The other fleet, you are going back to Gallurum. We are going to
System
take it,
survey complete.
whether they like it or not, and it's going to become ours. We're still only at 35% war score. This is taking a very long time, this war. And we are finally in a position to take down Qualud. So General Skrak, take it away. There's no one defending it now. Just some pathetic armies. Should be easy for you. He does do a lot of damage to these defense units. I don't know why they're so weak, to be honest. We seem to have a very high damage rating. Possibly from technology? I'm not sure. But none of our units have been lost yet.
Construction
And
complete.
it's just a question of numbers.
Enemy planet secured.
Good job. So, we have captured a second planet. We're now at 57% war score. We want to get to, what was it, 95? So we're getting there slowly, and we're now going to go for a key battle against Inac. This is their capital world.
Debris analyzed.
They will have a pretty good defensive space station here, and they will also have potentially fleets I'm not aware of just yet. And many armies. That's another possibility. They could have a lot more armies than we do. Okay, here we go. We are going to battle the homeworld space station. If we can take this down, they will not be in a good position, because this is probably where they produce most of their fleets. And possibly the home planet is where they produce most of their armies as well. So this could be critical to the war. It's quite powerful, but we have the advantage of maneuverability and range. Plus we're just more powerful in general if you add up all our ships. I am worried that we'll lose a couple though, so we'll see how it goes. I haven't actually given them an opportunity to heal yet. Because there's some presidential elections going on when I wasn't looking. Okay. I guess, did someone die? I don't know.
Debris.
Yitak is currently president. Good, good. And we have taken down their space station. Our friends here are starting to take down some of their infrastructure, which means that we can move in and start bombarding the planet. Which isn't that heavily guarded, actually, so I think we've got a good chance. So we're going to embark our army, and we're going to get them over here. And here we can observe the last few days of Inaris. Of course, it's not going to be the destruction of the planet, but we can pretend. This is the last of their resistance, at least in this particular war. The bombardments almost destroyed their fortifications. General Skrak is raring to go. And here we go. Down go our men. Fly, burbs, fly. Destroy the evil lizard people. They have a lot of defensive armies here. This could actually be quite painful. I'm willing to sacrifice some units if I have to. I don't mind if we lose 1 or 2, but actually it looks like it's going our way. A lot of them are taking damage, and as soon as they start to get eliminated, that means they're outputting less damage. So once they start to lose numbers, very quickly we have control of the battle. So even though our men have taken about half damage in some cases, it's not a problem.
Planet secured.
Inaris is done for. We've captured it. Beautiful. Unfortunately, one of our scientists has died in the middle of the war, but he was probably just upset with how wonderful we were doing. So Inari has been taken, which is important because we're now up to 83% war score. And if we go to negotiation, well, let's see what we can get. Can we get all the liberations I was talking about? Yes, we can have all the liberations. Can we stop you making atrocities? Yes. Can we humiliate you? No, we're just slightly short of that. Because you can see the calculation here. We're asking for 95% of what they can give us. We have 83% war score. Length of war's been ticking down slowly. In fact, it goes from negative to positive over time. So if you keep pressing a war for a very long time, even if you're on the defensive, you can still effectively do well and score out of that. And then because we've demolished their navy and because we have a pretty strong one ourselves, they've given us an extra 20 points. However, we are just short of what we'd like. And really, I don't think we should let them get away with this. We're going to have to conquer one more planet to do this properly. And I think it's got to be Zoldar here. It's the closest system. Doesn't look terribly exciting in terms of defense. So let's immediately send those guys. And then once the army's healed up, they can follow up. This should take no time at all. And actually, with the destruction of the space station outside of Zoldar there, they have surrendered. We get everything we asked for in the war without even having to negotiate. That is excellent. So you'll see how this works. If you ask for things, you can get them if you completely destroy your enemy. But you can always stop part way and just get some amount of what you asked for to begin with. The only thing I don't like about it is you're not able to add war goals as the war develops. For instance, maybe you discover, because this is the first time you've been able to survey your enemy's planets, that one of them is particularly good, has some special feature, and you're not able to actually then change your war goals to say, actually, we'd like this instead. So that's a little frustrating, but I think I can see why that is, because maybe then you could also screw with other people who you've invited to the war by taking away their goals. I think it could be worked on, but we'll see. Anyway, we beat them, which means they will liberate many, many, many planets. 5 planets, the ones we asked for. They are humiliated, giving us 100. Oh, look at all their influence. Giving us 100 influence. They've been obliged to change their policy so they can no longer purge or commit slavery. I don't know if they were, as I said, but they can't do it now. And we got another 100 influence for that. So, if we now look at the galaxy, we can see that the Aramathi Union has been formed. What is the Aramathi Union, I hear you ask? Well, this is where the game's a bit funny, because really what I would like to have done, given that the Aramathi technocracy originally owned this place, I kind of wish that they'd just be able to get their stuff back. But as a result of my liberating their colonies, they've become an entirely new sort of government. I guess it's a bit like... No, it's not like Vichy France at all, really, because Vichy France was imposed on by the enemy who defeated them. And I didn't really defeat these guys. I sort of defeated those guys who happened to be conquering these guys. So I guess it's a bit more like East and West Germany. No, that still doesn't apply because that was 2 different people conquering stuff. So actually I can't think of a good system in reality where someone conquered a country and it was already conquered and the half that they reconquered got changed to a new government. I don't know. Complicated. Right. So these guys, they love us. They love us because we liberated them, plus 100. And in fact, they share our exact ethics. How wonderful. Strangely enough, this doesn't seem to affect their people, because the people on the planets, I think, still have the same ethics they had before. So I'm not quite sure how the government and the people end up balancing out there, but the ethics of your empire always seem to be separated from the ethics of your people, as far as I'm aware. I've never seen them change anyway. So they like us, which is good. We'd quite like to invite them to join our alliance, but right now they have a different war philosophy to us. Maybe that will take some time to change. But what we will do is, sure, we'll offer a migration treaty. I don't see why not. That seems pretty fair. That should start ticking up our trust level, and in time they will come round to our way of thinking. Now, the technocracy here, I believe, were they not in a war? They got into war with the Zeltec, these guys up here that I also don't really like, and who don't like me. So, if there's any way I can help, I'd like to, but unfortunately I don't think there is. Maybe if you survive the war I can come and help you. Meanwhile, the Immors here, because we've now got a peaceful situation, might be able to join our alliance? No, differing war philosophy, that's a shame. I think they have open war because they're militarist, so they won't readily join our alliance. Okay, first thing we're going to do after the war, thanks to our massive gain in influence, we are going to establish a democratic utopia. This will cost us only 250 influence, but it means that our skill levels automatically start 2 higher for all leaders. Very useful, and they become much cheaper to recruit as well. It's that, or we go back to a slightly different form of democracy which increases happiness, which is actually tempting, and leader experience gain. Now maybe actually that's a better choice, because in the long run we will actually have plenty of leaders to spare. So now could be the time to switch from the cheap and powerful leaders to simply the leaders that gain experience very quickly, in exchange for 10% happiness. And that 10% happiness is really important because it means that people everywhere on all your planets actually like working more, and this increases your output. So I think we're going to switch actually to a subconscious consensus. Yes. So bird people, it's time for you to get implants, because now you're going to be voting constantly. Let's go. You can see that both our resources shot up there as a result of our superb happiness levels, and unfortunately our influence is not that high. Why is that? We have a guarantee, an alliance, and a defensive pact. Who do we have a defensive pact with, pray tell? I was unaware of this. Contacts? Where are the burbs? Here we are. So we currently have a defensive pact with Narilga and an alliance with Narilga. Interesting. Why do we have both exactly? I thought one was a subset of the other. Well, I don't really want to start anything with them, so I guess we're going to have to just keep paying for it. We're also paying for a guarantee on these guys, which I think I'm going to keep for now. And we're also paying for a frontier outpost. Where is our frontier outpost we're paying for? Oh yeah, down here in Islam. You know, that's fine. I think in the long run we'll get rid of it. I don't mind losing this small amount of territory to my allies here in Narilga. But actually, you know what? Maybe we'll get rid of it now. It's 2 research and 4 minerals, and I'm pretty sure nothing else is going to affect us. So I will voluntarily disband this station, and then we'll just check the borders. Well, that's a bit of a shame that they've disconnected down here, but actually we've managed to keep Isom within our space. We've just lost Dandar, so I'm not really bothered. In fact, we've given it to the Narilga, so that's even better. It's just a disappointment that this is now separated. We'll have to, we'll have to do something about that in the long run. There's one more thing I'd like to do with our newfound influence, and that is, on our home planet, to increase our capital up to a delicious empire capital complex. Look at that. It's going to cost almost all of our influence, but we'll get it back in time. It will add a lot of stuff to our basic buildings there. Meanwhile, any other planetary management of interest to do? Not really. I mean, I feel like we're doing pretty well for resources. These guys are a little unhappy for some reason, but overall happiness is high as a result of our new democracy. Nothing to disapprove of there. In fact, on our home world, I imagine everyone's extremely happy. Only 76. Well, could be better, could be better. We'll work on it. There's a few things you can do, such as paradise domes, that we haven't discovered yet. And the new colony is actually doing pretty well. We've got this should be getting lots and lots of research from here, but it isn't. Oh, okay, it needs someone in it. That is incredible. So these... I'm going to build basically science labs everywhere here, because this is an amazing place to build science labs. Why would you ever put them... why would you ever put them in reservations? Let them have as much land as they want, damn it. It's amazing. Okay, we do need some more food here, though. They're not growing very quickly. So, yeah, sure. We can throw away a mineral in exchange for some hydroponics there. And then you can go down there when you're born. Okay, so at this point, we are looking pretty healthy still. The Empire is very long and thin, but nobody really dislikes us that we have to worry about.
System survey complete.
I think we'll be able to make friends with these guys in the long run. And I think also because we managed to discover ocean world colonization, we can probably get to this place here, Samdaran. Samdaran is the next place to go for. I've just noticed that in the middle of that war, the Mako Nas have damn well expanded north. That's a real shame because this stuff was looking very, very tempting. So we're actually going to have to pursue our expansion a little more aggressively. If only because we can't get anyone else to join our alliance. Actually, you know what? It's going to be easy to get these guys to join an alliance. What am I talking about? Trade deal? Would you like some free research? Yes, you would like some free research. Excellent. So with giving them free research, it's incredible because it basically massively increases their way they like us. And we just invite them to our alliance. And the Norilga will join us. And there we go. Now the Mako Nas have joined our alliance. Now, I believe they used to be allied with these guys. They don't like us, though, because we're too far away. So in order to build a federation, you need 4 different kinds of people. And we currently have 3 different empires. If we can just get these guys on side, I'd really like it if they changed their war philosophy, but maybe they're too warlike. Then we could get them on board. One of these 2 guys, anyway. But I think that's enough for now. Let's call that a part. Next time, we'll expand into some of this intervening space between us and the Mako Nas. And we might go to war again against the Inari and show them what for. We had a very successful war against them this time, so maybe it'll work again next time. They could end up being our 4th Federation member after a bit of governmental engineering. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I've been Chris. Thank you very much for watching. So long and goodbye.